rolling tumors to roaring lampooners, the Tigers on a Roll show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Tigers on a Roll. This episode is out Monday, November 3rd. The last 24 hours have been monumental, maybe for the best, maybe for the worst. But we have another new era of Auburn Tigers football on the horizon. Hugh Freeze's tenure at Auburn is over. And we need to talk about the firing of Hugh Freeze, the state of the football program, and thankfully, Auburn basketball tonight. So we will preview the regular season debut of Stephen Pearl's number 20 basketball team. But Hugh Freeze is gone. It felt like the Kentucky game was the ledge that he was pushed over. But the core issue that led to this decision in year 3 was built up over time. Maybe not just the last couple games, maybe the whole year, maybe the last couple years. Auburn hired an offensive guru, and the offense was non-existent. He was brought in to fix the scoring woes, but the offense ultimately got worse. Last year, they were averaging 22 points a game against conference opponents. That dropped to 15, and against ranked teams, even worse, barely over 13 whole points. The roster has more talent, a consensus top 15 talent team across the board. Blue chip ratio was higher than like any other Auburn football team we've ever had. Yet they couldn't execute with any of those guys on the field. Miscommunication across the offensive line has been a season-long problem. And maybe the RPO system is to blame, but having a revolving door at quarterback doesn't help either. The Kentucky game put those issues under a microscope. Ashton Daniels was not the poised competitor that he seemed to be during the Arkansas game. He actually looked exactly like Jackson Arnold, which exacerbated the fundamental issues, which is Hugh Freeze's scheme and the systemic issues that the program has across the board, top down. Forget the AD and the president and everything being kind of in unison on decisions to be made. I mean, there is something systemically wrong in the football facility where, like, these kids who are allegedly some of the best players in the nation, some of the best players Auburn has ever had, go out on Saturdays and piss down their leg. I mean, it was terrible. The Kentucky showing was horrendous. But, like, the other games where we were quote-unquote close, they looked no better. They just got lucky enough to be put in a position to, maybe score. But Kentucky didn't let that happen. Kentucky pinned Ashton Daniels deep the entire game. We didn't get over the 50-yard line until like late in the second quarter. I mean, it was atrocious. And that goes back to Hugh's scheme and whatever it is that the problem with this football team was during the week preparing for these Saturdays. And it was like, that is got to be over with. Under Durkin, under whoever the new head coach is, get that all out of here. An absolute total malfunction against the worst team in the conference. I get, for Durkin, for example, when you're a defensive coach and your offense struggles, if he is the head coach, you hire a new coordinator. But when Hugh Freeze, you're hired to be the offensive guy and you can't fix it, then there's no fix left but to be replaced. Now, the new coach, whoever that is, needs to prioritize keeping all these blue chip players on this roster. Roster retention over the next month and a half before the transfer portal opens is imperative to soften the impact that is going to come with a staff turnover. Even the portal, it's open right now because Hugh Freeze is gone. They get 30 days to transfer. Keeping the current players and navigating the portal in January is a non-negotiable for whoever's named the next head coach. And I've said this since the rumor mill started, but what Auburn needs in their next coach is whatever the iteration of their football program is going to be. It needs to be a creative and flexible young guy. Auburn literally $53 million deep in payouts cannot afford to employ a head coach who believes that they can outsmart the football gods. We do not need a coach who is washed ashore by the waves of time. It is so obvious that Auburn is a challenging job. And if you challenge it back, it will eat you alive, which it's done a few times in the last 5 years. I mean, all of those guys thought that they were a gift to Auburn's football program, and it destroyed them. So we need someone who can leverage the NIL opportunities and knows how to work this transfer portal and can sell another potential rebuild, can sell Auburn to these kids with that in mind and fill holes that will appear in January. I mean, I don't know what we can do about it in the next 30 days, but Eric Perry flipped. I mean, you might have kids talking right now on Monday morning, 24-ish hours, after Hugh Freeze is gone. They're sitting in the student center, or they're walking to the facility, they're talking to each other. It's like, well, what are you going to do? It's like, well, I don't know yet. What are you going to do? I mean, the defensive guys love Durkin, but like one of the systemic issues that I see at Auburn is there are too many people playing for the name on the back of their jersey and not the name on the front of their jersey. And you can tell because they are not dogs. You're going to tell me you're a 4 or 5-star guy and you just you step on the field in front of 80-something thousand fans in Jordan hair and you can't go make a play? You are not a dog. And I don't care what your NIL checks look like this season or next season, but that's unacceptable in and of itself for an athlete that wants to get to the next level and go play pro ball. But total malfunction on the coaching side of it to not recognize that too. And I'm not blaming anyone specifically, but I am saying if you don't have that dog in you to go out there and win for Auburn, you're having those conversations today when you're not being observed by the media or the coaching staff or anyone from the athletic department. You're talking about, well, what's next for me? Am I going to stay at Auburn and see what happens? Or, am I going to pop out of here and I can go play? I mean, I don't know. You see this kid, Eric Perry, flip from Auburn to Memphis. I mean, these kids could go to, Ohio State or LSU or Florida, whatever, where all these other, kind of struggling programs are that have good brands. Ohio State's not a struggling program, but I'm saying they could transfer there if they wanted to, get picked up in the transfer portal. And they're probably tampering. But what do they do? And who are you as a player and what do you want? Because as a fan and a former athlete, obviously not a D1 football player, I wanted to wear the orange and blue. I foregoed opportunities to play Division I ball, and I went and I played lacrosse at Auburn because I loved Auburn. The only school I applied to, it generationally is just something that I have been in love with. And I did anything in my power to make sure that I was going to be on a starter on the field for an Auburn team that I love to play for. Now, I wasn't making any money, but let alone millions of dollars by this staff with contractual obligations and things like that. But it's there was nothing I wanted more than to put on an Auburn jersey and go compete for the university, go compete for the Tigers. And I hope that these kids feel the same way. But over the next 30 days, they're going to be able to enter the transfer portal because a coach was removed. And the game is changing, and we need a coach. Right now, it'll be DJ Durkin as an interim, and the other people that are on the staff that think that they're going to be able to stay at Auburn. But the next guy needs to be this. He can't be inflexible, and he has to sell what Auburn offers everybody, not just athletes. What Auburn offers one of the best college experiences in the country for current students and alumni. People, as you can tell with seasons like this, people love Auburn, and there are so many former players that love Auburn with their entire being. And we need to find and retain kids that are going to share that same vision, because putting out a bunch of overpaid prima donnas is not going to win Auburn anything, let alone a bowl game. That is not going to be Auburn's recipe to get to the college football playoff. A New Year's Six bowl or whatever is like one of the premier bowl games. Like, you're going to need to put together kids that have a dog in them and want to compete for Auburn over anything else that is currently in their, atmosphere in terms of like NIL and the noise on social media and the recent history of Auburn's football program. And the next coach is going to need to understand that, and he is going to have to mold himself to what Auburn is and build his culture on the building blocks that are already there with Auburn's storied history and the way that Auburn, fans interact with their athletes and how athletes interact with the university. Because this tenured, I was good here, I won everywhere, I put up offensive numbers, whatever Hugh Freeze was saying, whatever Brian Harsin was saying, like, that doesn't work anymore. And it's not going to work at Auburn. It's probably not going to work anywhere else in the country. And you absolutely, statistically, cannot expect a coach who is also a play caller to have any sort of success in Division I NCAA football right now. No shot at it. Historically, I think the numbers are like 2 of the last 20 national championship winning teams had a coach who was also a play caller. So Auburn needs to get away from that immediately. That it can absolutely not happen. We need a CEO who is dominant on the recruiting trail, has an idea of what he wants, and also has the ability to build a culture. And then we need OCs who are the best in the country. And newsflash, we have one. DJ Durkin is a dog, and he is one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. And we need the exact mirror image of him on the offensive side of the ball to put together, hopefully an improvement on this season for next year. But then, like, year after year, to build a program back to what Auburn is and should be. We have a whole generation of children right now who think Auburn is an absolute dumpster fire of a football program. The damage that has been done to Auburn's program in the last 5 years, of the national brand and identity that Auburn has had for decades, is destroyed. The last time that anyone would have remembered Auburn being a highly competitive team in the conversation for conference and national champions potentially could be 17 with Jarrett Stidham. Those kids were in 5th or 6th grade. They probably weren't even watching Auburn. The way that we recruit right now is like those kids were probably fans of any other bandwagon school. Like that is the type of stuff that we're competing with right now that no one really thinks about, but is always going to be in the back of the minds of these recruits and the coaching staff that is recruiting them. The damage has been done, and it is time to start repairing it. But before we get into the ad read, we're coming up on time here. Before we get into the ad read, my speculation of what that looks like, the coaching search, I haven't gathered my thoughts too well right now, but if you look back at how close they were with Kiffin and all of this conversation around Sumrall right now, those are the 2 guys right now that I think have got to be at the top of your list who can do those things and understand the dynamics of current college football that can come to Auburn and make an immediate impact. And now I think there's definitely a third candidate that's probably not on a lot of radars, if on anyone's, that's going to be in that mix. And it might be Fran Brown. I mean, he may be the third guy. And, I'm not sure I'm in love with any of those options because I don't know what Auburn needs, but like those speculative hot boards, like those are probably the guys that are up there. And Auburn's in a pickle. And the next guy is going to need to make wine out of water. But I think that, like, not Fran Brown. I've seen him. He's climbing the boards. But like Kiffin, Sumrall, right now, those are the guys that you got to take a serious look at, and they're already talking to him. Tell you that right now. They have been in conversations the last few weeks, for sure. I promise you. But those are the guys that they're going to need to take a look at, and those are the guys who probably are positioned best to do anything that this football program needs. Anything. And that's just where we are. And we'll see how it shakes out. And obviously Tigers on a roll will keep you updated on it. But like, that's my take. And that's just where we're sitting right now, you know, about a day after Hugh Freeze was told, thanks, but no thanks, buddy. Like, you got to hit the road. And let's get a word from our sponsors before we transition into a preview of tonight's basketball game. Brahma Marketing is your one-stop shop for everything from signs and apparel to high-impact vehicle wraps. Brahma can do it all and at a great price, too. As a certified 3M's graphic company, they guarantee quality and durability. They've partnered with Graystar Real Estate, Prisma Health, HD Supply, and more. Stop blending in and start standing out. Visit brahmamarketing.com to get started on your next project. War Eagle from the Orlando Auburn Club. Are you an Auburn alum or fan living in the Orlando area? This is more than just a club. It's your official connection to the Auburn family right here in Central Florida. The club hosts game watch parties, networking events, and networking events for Auburn alumni and prospective students alike. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and online at orlandooburnclub.org. We got, from a stressful end to the football season, we'll see what happens. But let's look at something positive. A brand new, exciting basketball season. The number 20 Tigers are on a roll. The season tips off tonight at Neville Arena. The Tigers take on Bethune-Cookman at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, they are another Wildcats team. This one is not going to be as dangerous or embarrassing as the one we saw on Saturday, that's for sure. But after a Final Four run last season and the retirement of his father, Bruce Pearl, Stephen Pearl steps into the top job for the first time officially tonight, inheriting high expectations from a team that finished 32-6 and won the SEC last year. Tahad Pettiford is the lone returning scholarship player and has already been named preseason All-SEC first team. He averaged 12 points off the bench last year, and we'll keep an eye on him as he gets hotter and hotter on the hardwood for the Tigers. And in addition to Tahad, you're going to want to keep an eye on Keyshawn Hall and Keyshawn Murphy throughout tonight's game, early season, and up until March. Both of those guys averaged double-figure scoring for their previous teams, and they showed up in the exhibitions thus far. I mean, all outside of the overtime loss, I mean, 100 points on Memphis. Like, this Auburn team is no joke, and they are not in a position that a lot of people thought they were going to be in terms of being like a fledgling, defenseless reiteration of Auburn, of a new look of the Auburn Tigers. But those two guys, outstanding additions, and every day these guys play together, they will get better and better. We beat Memphis 100-71 in the final exhibition game. Stephen Pearl's squad is going to run a high-octane offense, and folks are projecting Auburn to put up 6 or more 100-point games this season. And I would not expect anything less than relentless pace and high-scoring debut tonight in front of a sold-out jungle in Neville Arena. Hopefully a stellar showing by them will provide a distraction from all this football drama, and look for the energy to be like through the roof tonight. The fans in Jordan-Hare were gassed on Saturday when they saw the basketball game promo come up on the video boards. They cheered louder for the basketball promo than they did for any of the player intros, really, on Saturday before the Kentucky game. But if you can't make it to Neville, I know the ticket prices are already getting absurd, but you can tune in tonight. The Tigers face Bethune-Cookman, SEC Network, or stream it on the ESPN app. We will also live tweet the game at Tigers on a Roll on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And we will try to keep everyone that can't catch the game live abreast of the changes on Twitter, X, with the live tweeting of the happenings throughout that game. And a quick note before we get out of here. Equestrian beat TCU last week, and the soccer team unfortunately lost to LSU Sunday night in the first round of the SEC playoffs. We are certainly sorry to see their season end, but it was a fun run, and we'll keep you in the know of any off-season happenings around the soccer facility. They're going to rebuild that program. I think they lost like 9 seniors or something, 8 seniors, something like that. And hopefully that they are going to have an exciting offseason and be able to get back on the pitch next year with the tenacity that they had this year, and see if they can't turn some of those draws that they had this year into wins next year. But that is all the time that we have. So War Eagle, stay on a roll, and we'll see you.